Hello, good morning. Welcome to my class. I am your maths teacher. My name is Himanshi and I'm going to teach you chapter mensuration today. So I hope you can see the presentation. Let's start with today's class. So the agenda for today's class is definition of mensuration, all the formulas which are covered in the chapter of your NCERT book mensuration, and how do we solve the questions by using those formulas. So before starting, let me ask you some pre-assessment questions to check how much do you know. So the first question says, what is perimeter? So do you know the answer? What is perimeter? We have already learned in earlier grades that perimeter is the length of boundary of a surface. For example, I have I have a square and I have to take out its length. So I would count its all the sides, which means the boundary of it. And that is why perimeter is the boundary or the length of a particular figure. The second question says, what is area? So area is basically the space which is occupied. In perimeter, we were talking about the boundary, but in area, we are talking about the space which the entire figures cover, which means the inside of the figure. Alright, now let's read what is mensuration. So let's read. Mensuration is a branch of mathematics that deals with the measurement of length, area and volume of various geometrical shapes. So now in mensuration, the entire unit of mensuration, you will get to know about length, about area and also about volume of various shapes, about square, about rectangle, about circle, about triangle and even more shapes. Now what is a shape? Any guesses? So as we all know, a shape is a form of an object. For example, square, a rectangle, a triangle, these are our 2D shapes, which means two-dimensional shapes. And if we talk about three-dimensional shapes, they are cube, cuboid, and sphere. Now let's start with perimeter. So what did I told you about the perimeter? And do you remember? So perimeter is the total length or the total distance covered along the boundary of a closed shape. So as I told you, it is the length of the boundary and not inside but just the boundary. And the second point says that perimeter of a circle is also known as its circumference. So if in a question it is written, um, calculate the circumference of a circle or circumference of given object, please don't get confused because they mean that you have to take out the perimeter. So in this figure, you can see this is a four-sided figure or a shape, and in this we have four sides, so there's A, B, C, and D. So the perimeter of the figure is A plus B plus C plus D. And when we'll add all the four sides, we'll get the perimeter. The second one is perimeter of a triangle. So perimeter of a triangle is A plus B plus C, which means length of all the three sides of a perimeter. So again, in triangle, we are taking out the boundary length, which is A plus B plus C. For example, you can see here in the figure A plus B plus C. And it is also possible that all the three sides are equal, and this happens in the case of an equilateral triangle. So we know what an equilateral triangle is, right? An equilateral triangle is in which all the three sides are equal. So when all the three sides are equal, we just need to multiply that side number by 3 and we'll get the perimeter of the triangle. Now let's come to perimeter of rectangle. And now perimeter of rectangle, as we know, a rectangle has length and width. So we have two widths, which means two widths of the rectangle, and we have two lengths of the rectangle, right? So we have to add two length 2 times and width also 2 times to get the perimeter of the rectangle. So the formula comes as 2 into L, which is length, plus W, which is the width. So the formula becomes 2 into L plus W, and we can also say width as breadth. So then the formula becomes 2 into L plus B. Then we have perimeter of a square, and perimeter of the square is 4 into side, which means 4A. So till now we learned about perimeter and 3 perimeters, which are square, rectangle and triangle. Now let's come to area, and as I told you, area is the total amount of surface enclosed by a closed figure. So as you see in the figure, there are 3 figures given. One is a circle, one is a triangle, and one is, yes. So now, if we have to take out the area of the triangle, we will count 3 boxes, which is 1, 2 and 3, and we will count the half triangles, which means 2 half gives us 1, right? So this way 1, 2, 3, 4, half plus half 4 and 1. So the area of the figure would be 4.5 centimeters squares. Easy, right? So now let's see the formulas of area. Area of a square is side into side. As we know, square has all sides equal. So when we do side into side, which means side square, we will get the area of a square. Area of a rectangle. As I just told you that a rectangle has a length and a breadth. So to take out the area of a rectangle, we have to do length into breadth, which is L into B. Or we can also say this as L into W, which is length into breadth. Length into width, because breadth and width means the same. Okay, then we have area of a triangle. Area of a triangle is half into base into height. So you must be thinking, what is the base, right? So here in the figure you can see B written, right? So B means the base of the triangle and H means the height of the triangle. So now the formula becomes half into B into H, which means half into base into height. So let's recap the quick recap of our today's class, which is we learned about mensuration, what is the definition, and then we got to know what is perimeter, what is area, what are their formulas, and how do we apply them in all the given shapes. So now I have some questions for you which you can solve as your homework. You can take a screenshot so that you have a record of it. This is the first slide. I hope you have taken the screenshot. And this is the second one. So in total you have 6 questions to do as your homework. Good? Right? So if you have any questions, you can ask me. And if you have any query or you have to give any feedback, you can mail us at our customer care email ID, which is written here. You can also take a screenshot to future.